I am Jason Mulder, President of Nexus Coalition. Addiction and specifically the opioid epidemic is very personal to me. It has affected me personally. My oldest son passed away from an opioid overdose. In his younger years, his friends of course tempted him with vaping and told him that it didn't have any nicotine, and that was a lie. And then he first got addicted to nicotine, and then that led to other addictions. And really, I think on the opioid side, it was just wanting to experiment, just see what it was like. But if you know opioids at all, they're extremely addicting, and it really took over his life. And he called me. He was living with a friend at that point, and called me and broke down and said, "Dad, I hate my life. This is taking over. Dad, I'm done. I'm completely done." I said, "Jaden, if you're completely done, come home. We'll help you get off of it." Cleaned him up. It was 3 days of immense, severe pain for him. He was in severe pain. We spent days just driving him around a car all over the White Mountains so he could be comforted at some degree. Following that, we got to have our kid back that we hadn't seen for a couple of years, really. A kid that was ambitious and excited to be a part of the world and be a part of the family and impact. And we got to do lots of really fun things with him for about 2 months. He went down to the valley with me, which is where he had lived before, and he went to work with me for the day. I went to see his girlfriend that night. He asked to be his girlfriend. He was starting his new job the next day, and was getting ready to start his new phase of life, and happened to have an hour of free lunch time and met up with an old friend that hooked him up. And I really think he just wanted his one last hoorah. He didn't have very much on him, but because he had been clean, I think it was just too much for him, and he took some that night and didn't wake up the next morning. And so that was a very hard thing to deal with as a parent, obviously. Very little, for what we know, the damage that is taking place, very little is happening in the educational space and getting information out there. And really, at some degree, there is a gap mentally that can be filled that can replace this. And these kids and adults need somewhere to go, and there is nowhere that I know of that is putting energy into making a change as Nexus. I don't know of anybody or any group that is putting the energy into making an impact in this space. And I know that probably every single person watching this either knows somebody personally, somebody very close, or somebody distant that has died of opioid or a drug overdose of some type, or that is currently just addicted and has been for years. And it is so important that we get these messages out there, and that even beyond just messages, that we actually have people taking action to educate and actually help these people that are in addiction, help them have a pathway to get off. And Nexus is the largest group that I have seen putting energy into this, and they need all the power they can get behind them, and not just money, but voices. Spreading the word, letting people know that they're here and what they do is hugely powerful.